Hello, everyone. So I'm going to speak in English. Welcome to the 22nd Marrakech International Film Festival for another great conversation on stage. A quick reminder before we begin, translation headset in Arabic and French are available. Vous avez des écouteurs à disposition pour les traductions en arabe et en français. Today, we are honored to host an exceptional conversation featuring two major figures from the world of cinema and media. Moderating today's for the first time is a leading voice in Morocco's audiovisual landscape, Faïçal Laraïchi, President of the SNRT and 2M, Vice President of the Festival Foundation, and President of the Moroccan National Olympic Committee. His vision and long-standing commitment have played a key role in shaping the country's media sector. And joining us from Hollywood is the head of the world's most prestigious film institution, Bill Kramer, CEO of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, the person who oversees the Oscars and guides the Academy through the major evolution of contemporary cinema. It is a privilege for the festival to bring these two perspectives together and to offer you this unique exchange. But before starting, I want you to look at a clip with the highlight of the Oscars and also to see Mr. Kramer at his work. So we are very, very proud to welcome Mr. Bill Kramer and Mr. Faïçal Laraïchi.
Good morning, everybody. Very pleased to be here and also very honored to host today Bill Kramer, the leader of the most prestigious foundation in the world of cinema. Bill, when I was looking at your resume and looking at what you did, I mean, you were trained as an urban planner. And I was really very intrigued by your path. Can you tell us how, from an urban planner, you become the CEO of the Academy?
It's been a winding path. First, I should say hello, everybody. Good morning. Thank you so much for having me today. Yes, so when I was growing up, I grew up in Maryland, a state in the US that's not at all connected to the film industry, with the exception of John Waters, if you know John Waters. So we didn't grow up thinking we'll work in the movie industry. But I was deeply interested in music, new wave, post-punk, movies. We were a movie-going family. So my grandmother every week would bring me Billboard and Variety. I was a numbers guy. She knew I loved lists, so I'd read box office reports. I'd track how albums were doing. But I never thought, oh, I'm going to work in the film industry. So I went to business school at UT Austin, got a finance and statistics degree. Then moved to New York and pursued an urban planning degree, thinking perhaps I'll be a demographer, which I know has nothing to do with the film industry, but again, I'm thinking, how do I use my numbers skills in an interesting way? I love systems, I love cities, but my first few jobs out of that program, or really my first job with the city of New York, was a lot about grant writing to bring money into the city. To rebuild the New York City subway system. And what I learned is that I loved fundraising, but I wanted it to apply to something that was a little more true to my passions. So from there, I started doing fundraising for Columbia University School of the Arts. Then I met some people from Sundance, and they created a job for me, a very low-level fundraising position. They knew that I knew a lot about movies. They were building their fundraising office. That was in the late 90s, and then, as they say, the rest is history. And I never even thought that there would be a career path for me in this area, but it's been fantastic, and I think any leader needs to know about budgets and so much of our world. I mean, you're a leader in entertainment. We spend a lot of time dealing with budgets and planning, and then you have an urban planning background too, which I love. So
Absolutely.
how did we both get here? You tell me. What are you doing here?
Okay, that's absolutely great. I mean, to see how life can be wonderful. I mean, full of surprises, and when you thrive, I mean, you succeed and you reach positions and dreams that maybe nobody would have thought about. Can you tell us a little bit more about the role of the Academy and the evolution? How do you see the future of the Academy? You're working a lot on it, so that would be great for us. Maybe how it works too?
You bet. So the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, we're almost 100 years old. We were founded in 1927 by movie industry luminaries, Mary Pickford, Douglas Fairbanks, Louis B. Mayer. We're a nonprofit arts organization that was created to help with the image of the film industry. This was an early stage of the film industry. It was very much Hollywood focused at that time, but it was really about educating the public about the crafts of filmmaking and celebrating movie making and really creating a positive feeling about this growing industry. We've grown substantially. When we started, we had a little more than 30 members of the Academy. We now have 11,000 members of the Academy. Every year we invite in filmmakers from multiple disciplines: cinematography, editing, directing, producing, acting. We're that rare organization in the film industry that cuts across all disciplines. And what's great is we're really becoming more global in our membership. So when we started, again, we were much more Hollywood focused. Now we're almost 25% non-US in terms of our membership, and that's growing, and we can talk more about that. But that's really exciting. It's a great moment of evolution for the Academy. That's why I'm here. We're traveling the world, meeting with filmmakers, so this is in service to growing our global membership. And most people know the Academy for the Oscars. One of our key pillars is to celebrate the arts and sciences of cinema. We do that by honoring film artists and films. So the Oscars is clearly the biggest thing that we do. We also have what's called the Governor's Awards. These are honorary Oscars. We just gave Tom Cruise an honorary Oscar a few weeks ago. You may have read about that for his body of work and his commitment to the film industry. We have what's called the Sci-Tech Awards. This is where we honor people who work in the sciences and technologies of movie making. We have the Student Academy Awards, or the Student Oscars, where we, for college-age students, give them student Oscars for their work. We also run the world's biggest global film museum that opened a few years ago. That was actually my first project at the Academy. I was hired to raise the money to build the museum. If you ever come to LA, I hope many of you will come visit us. We have a great new exhibition on Jaws that we curated with Steven Spielberg. So that's another pillar of what we do. We preserve film history. Then we have a 52 million item collection. We have the world's largest film-related collection. We've actually been collecting since the 1920s. Props, costumes, scripts, photographs, posters, production design drawings, you name it. A new piece that was just given to us was Quentin Tarantino gifted us his handwritten script for Pulp Fiction, which is, I get goosebumps just thinking about that. It's incredible. So we are the stewards of global film history. And then the last thing I'll speak to is our education and talent development programs. We want to inspire new generations of movie makers. So we have a variety of programs, mentorship programs, fellowship programs, and education programs for K through 12, high school students, and for early career filmmakers to inspire them to move into our industry. So people think, oh, the Academy is the Oscars. That's one thing that we do. We do many other things.
How about the voting process? How does it go? I mean, I'd like to hear about that. I mean, it's quite mysterious for us.
So unlike a lot of other awards bodies around the world, we don't do juries to select Oscar recipients. Our members, our 11,000 members, vote for each category of the Oscars. Your branch votes in the preliminary round. So if you're a cinematographer and you're in our cinematography branch, you vote for the 5 slots for the cinematography Oscar, then all members vote to select the one winner of that Oscar. And we do that by branch. Some branches do shortlists. In our international feature film category, we have members from across branches opt in to select the shortlist, 15 films, and then all members vote in the finals category. So this is very much driven by a democratic voting process by filmmakers around the world. I think what we're seeing, and this is really exciting, going back to the global comment, as the Academy becomes more global, you're seeing a lot of non-US films being nominated in categories and winning. Parasite a few years ago won Best Picture, but you're seeing non-US films being nominated across categories. And that really speaks to the globalization of not just the Academy, but the film industry. I mean, I think we're watching and making movies in a much more global way. So I think with the change of our membership and given how we vote, you're seeing a much more diverse and global selection of films nominated for Oscars.
Thank you so much for those precisions. It's really important for us to understand how it works. And I mean, we all wait every year to see the Oscars, the night of the Oscars. Can you walk us through the whole process? I know it's very demanding, it's very complicated.
We'll need many days to walk through that process. Happy to. I mean, there's much to talk about in terms of the production of the show. It's a live television show, so one of the many skills that we have internally is we have great live event producers who we work with. You know, the voting process takes us through many, many months leading up to the Oscars. In January, we announce the nominations for the Oscars. And then between January and March, that's when voting begins. You know, I'll back up a little bit. Throughout the year, our members screen films. We have for our members what's called the Academy Screening Room. So every film in contention for the Oscars, including all of the international feature films that are selected by their home committees, are all on our Academy Screening Room. So members are constantly watching movies throughout the year. And they do watch the movies, we can track it. So we obviously want people to go to movie theaters. So we do screenings for our Academy members in LA, in San Francisco, and London, and New York. And we have the screening room. But also you see our members, I've seen many at this film festival, at the Marrakech International Film Festival. They travel to film festivals, they watch movies at film festivals, they go to FYC screenings, for your consideration screenings. And then the night of the show, we produce a live television show, and as you know, a lot can happen. It's live TV. We're always prepared for some excitement that night. And I think what makes the show great is not just the movies, but having a great host. We're so thrilled to have Conan back. I hope all of you watched the Oscars last year. Conan was fantastic. I see someone quietly clapping. You can clap loud, yes. Give it up for Conan. It's so important to have someone on that stage that is great with a live audience, and Conan is. It's great to have someone on that stage that welcomes everybody in. We're apolitical. Everyone's here. It's about the movies. And he brings a great joy to the occasion. So we're so grateful that he is back as our host this year. Please tune in.
Yeah, I still miss Billy Crystal.
Yes, you love Billy Crystal,
yeah,
yes.
Nine times.
I know, Billy's great. I think Billy, he sort of wrote the book on a modern way of hosting the show that I think a lot of present-day hosts really respect and honor.
Thank you, thank you. Maybe we can watch a clip about the memorable moments of the Oscars that will give us really beautiful, beautiful memories, please. Pour avoir le film, merci.
Wow. It's emotional.
Yeah, definitely.
I hope it makes you feel emotional. It's still, I've seen those a million times. It still gets to me.
Yes, and well, that may be the moment also for us after this all the emotions we saw on the screen, maybe to address young directors, young talents, about how they should, take their jobs, their life, their passion, their work in the future, and how they should, maybe, if you can give them a piece of advice, how they should address their job and their life, actually.
You bet. Well, I mean, I'll start with, after just watching that, I think a lot about this. I think award shows are so important. They're so inspiring to young filmmakers, especially if you see yourself reflected on the Oscars stage. I hope it gives people hope. Our industry is becoming more and more diverse, more and more global, and you're seeing that just in the few clips that we selected for today. So I hope that we give people a lot of hope and inspiration, and also demystify the process of it. I think what's great about the Oscars is it's really the only big award show, at least in the US, that goes through all of the disciplines of movie making. And we're committed to keeping all of the disciplines of movie making on the show. Some are lesser known. We're adding a casting award. This will be, the upcoming Oscars will be the first year that we're granting an Oscar to a casting director. Yes. So, I mean, that's such a critical, like, I mean, in every film you watch, there's a credit, casting by. People should understand what that means. That's a discipline, a skill. So I hope that inspires young people. And then for our 100th Oscars in 2028, we're adding a stunt design award, which is really exciting. I mean, the stunts, yeah, there you go, clap. Feel free to clap. Give it up for stunts. Almost every film has stunts of some kind, and I'm not just talking about action films. When we pitched this to our board of governors saying we would like to do this, please vote on this, we actually used clips from some smaller independent films where you don't think, oh, stunts were involved, just to show how embedded these disciplines are in all areas of movie making. And I think for young people right now, for emerging filmmakers, and I was at your Atlas program yesterday, which was so fantastic. I mean, I don't know if everybody here knows about this, but the festival has a wonderful program for emerging filmmakers where they're paired with mentors. They can workshop scenes and components of their movies. It's a real gift. But I think people today entering the industry, emerging filmmakers entering the industry, are entering a world that, I keep going back to this, but it's much more global. Streaming has changed a lot of how we watch movies. Of course, we want everybody going to movie theaters to watch films. That's where the art was made to be seen, proper sound, proper projection. But what streaming does offer us is access to movies. So I think young people have a platform, emerging filmmakers have a platform that didn't exist 10 years ago for smaller films, for new films. And then, AI is becoming a part of our industry, and I think a lot of young filmmakers need to figure out this is a tool, but human authorship is so important. So how do you pay attention to new tools like AI, like many tools used in post-production? How do you pull that into your movie making in a responsible way? So there are new distribution paths, new ways of watching movies, new ways of making movies that emerging filmmakers are paying attention to, and it's really exciting. It's a good moment to be entering the industry.
Yeah, and we definitely see it when we look at cinema versus, streaming, series now. How big series are becoming, even for the most renowned directors. And when we look at, big blockbusters versus art house cinema, cinema d'auteur, where do you stand? Where do you stand? As the Academy, when you have to address all those different, ecosystems in cinema.
Yeah, and that's changing rapidly. For our Best Picture category, we actually increased theatrical eligibility, so you have to play in more cities to be eligible for a Best Picture Oscar play in movie theaters. So we definitely want to ensure that the theatrical experience stays alive. We just opened 2 more of our own theaters in Los Angeles. We're now doing screening series for the public in New York and London. So we lean into the theatrical experience. That's very important for us. But streaming, again, has created a path for people to watch movies around the world that they normally wouldn't see. So both can coexist. Excuse me. Both can coexist. And I think that's the balance that filmmakers, especially emerging filmmakers, will have to figure out. How comfortable are they with a film that is primarily seen on a streaming platform? For some filmmakers, that's okay. For others, it's not. So that becomes a personal artistic choice. I do think a lot of independent films, what you would call an art house film, the theatrical component of that is shifting. A lot of them are seeing more life on streaming. It is our hope that they stay in theaters, that the theatrical experience for art house films stays alive. And we're doing everything we can do to promote those films at the Academy.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. That's very enlightening. And if you had to address, our young professionals here, in terms of building a project, building a movie, in terms of financing, what would be your advice? Because it's still one of the most important components of producing a movie, to raise money to do it.
Fundraising is a key part of what we do, what filmmakers do. My advice would be, and I would give this advice to the CEO of a private company, the head of a nonprofit: diversify your support. I think it's so important to access multiple financing options, and you'll see that sometimes at the beginning of a movie. You have multiple distribution companies, production companies, financiers, or you'll see it in the credits. We live in a global world. That's going to be my mantra today. There are many ways to finance your film through partnerships and distribution partnerships with partners from around the world. I think that is so key to a successful film, especially for smaller budgeted independent films. So meet people, get out in the world, attend festivals, meet distributors, meet financiers, but try to bundle financing across multiple platforms. I think that's a great way to be a little more risk averse by doing that.
I'd like to pick your brain about animation. I mean, it's a huge market now. Can you tell us more about it, and how do you see it actually in the industry?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if all of you were following last weekend's global box office, but Zootopia 2 was massive. It was a real jolt for the global box office kind of scene, and we've needed that for a long time. So, I mean, animation, and I should say the Academy awards Oscars to animated films, documentary films, feature films, narrative films, and short films. So all of those genres are important to us. But animation continues to be a huge driver at the box office. Families love going to the cinema together with their kids. And by the way, a lot of these films are not necessarily for children. Zootopia is, but a few years ago there was a beautiful film, Flow. It won the Oscar. But that was a very, that was a film made for adults, but it was a beautiful animated film. So this is a discipline that is healthier than ever, and it's one that we pay close attention to. Yeah.
I mean, you've been here for a few days here in Marrakech, and you had the opportunity to watch some first or second feature films from young or less younger, directors. How do you evaluate what you've seen up to now, and how do you see this market where we focus? We focus a lot on also on the Middle East and Africa production. How do you see this? I mean, in the horizon that you are defining for the Academy in the future.
So I'll start by saying I'm so impressed with the lineup at the festival. Great African and Middle Eastern representation, and great non-US, I'll say, international representation. Right now, we have a little more than 80 films in contention for the Best International Feature Film category at the Oscars. I think you have 13, 14 of them screening at the festival. So please, I know so my hat's off to you. That's not easy to do. And these are amazing films. You have a great film from Morocco this year. So please see as many of these films as you can while you're at the festival. But I'll go back to what I said before. We live in a global society now. So the horizon for films from the Middle East, from Africa, from South America. I mean, the film that won Best International Feature Film last year, I'm Still Here from Brazil. You know, when you're seeing a lot of films from the Middle East, from Asia, from South America, hopefully more from Africa, winding up on our short list for Best International Feature Film. So I think the public over the past, say, 5 years, it's a combination of more streaming and the pandemic, where people were at home watching films they normally wouldn't watch. A lot of lines really blurred then. The lines between classic films and first-run films, international films versus your home country films, documentaries, animation. People were exploring a lot of movies they normally wouldn't explore. And I think what was created were new audiences for global cinema. So, excuse me, I think the future is bright, and I think it's a big growth area for the Academy, for sure, but for African and Middle Eastern filmmakers.
Thank you. So when we look at all the Oscars that you give, I mean, I'm really very much impressed by the fact that you're also addressing all these technical jobs, I mean, functions in the movie industry. I mean, when we talk, we very often refer to cinema as the creation of authors, etc. But there is a sound design, there is music, there is photography, there is editing, and there is, I mean, a lot of different crafts that ensure the success or the quality of a movie. And I love that about the Oscars, because it's really a tribute to the whole industry, not just to creation or artists. I'd like to pick your brain on that, because it's very important to show that there are so many jobs, so many different ways to be in the industry with the most, I mean, beautiful contribution.
Yeah, and that's rare for award shows, to have so many disciplines represented, and our membership represents all of these disciplines. I think it's so important when we try to inspire young filmmakers, young artists, to say there are many ways to engage with movie making. If you're interested in fashion, you can think about becoming a costume designer. If you're an engineer, you can think about a visual effects or sound design path. There are so many ways to be a part of movie making. And for those of you that sit through the credits at the end of a film, you'll see, you know, 500 people listed across all of these disciplines. It's a truly collaborative art form. That's what I love the most about movie making. It is a collaboration. All of these departments have to talk to one another, right? There's overlap, there's conversation, there's a shared vision. It's so inspiring. And sometimes it can seem chaotic, but the finished product always works. Almost always works. Not always, not always.
But when you're at the Oscars, it did work when you reached that level. Maybe I'd like maybe to open the discussion to the public and for questions. That would be really nice to
Yeah, we'd love to answer questions. Yeah, let's put the lights up a little bit. Great. Oh my God. So many people here. I didn't see everybody. Okay, am I calling on everybody? I'm going to start with you because I saw your hand first, because I'm staring at you. And wait, I'm going to put this in.
Si vous pouvez vous présenter, ça serait super. Merci.
If you could introduce yourself.
Hi, good morning. My name is Khadija. I am an aspiring actress and filmmaker. I'm from here in Morocco, and I'm very happy to have so many foreigners here in this festival. And it's definitely surreal to have you here. And I confirm that the Academy is becoming global because we have you. That's the biggest proof of it. So my question to you is, I don't know if you know this, but in Morocco, less and less people, few people, are going to movie theaters. And I think that would be the case. It's worldwide, given the streaming services, the accessibility, etc. Unfortunately, here we're actually closing movie theaters, which is sad. However, that is something that I think, like I said, it's global. Does the Academy, I don't know what the case is like in the US, but does the Academy have any measures, any plan for the future? Especially that streaming services are becoming more and more out there. Everyone has access, it's very cheap. You can share your password with anyone, and then suddenly you have access to everything. So do you have any plan, not only for the US, but maybe like a global plan, to make sure that this art form survives and people go into the theater, survives, and it's no longer just a niche? I'm just worried that maybe in the future it will become a niche interest. Thank you.
Yeah, no, great question, and I think it's something all of us are becoming aware of. I mentioned this earlier. One of the ways we're trying to help with that is by increasing the theatrical eligibility requirement. We did that a few years ago to be eligible for Best Picture. It is our hope that people will go to the movies. I think the Oscars is a great kind of PR tool for movie going. We really hope that theaters remain vibrant and lively. We own 4 of them in Los Angeles. And I have to say, we sell out most of our screenings. In Los Angeles, there's a real culture of movie going, of course. It's the home of US cinema. But it's something that we think about a lot. Theatrical is important. It can't go away. That's how the art form was designed to be seen. A sound designer wants you to see their film in a theater with Dolby Atmos. That's really important. So we will constantly promote the theatrical experience. It's very important to us. Thank you. Great question. Thank you. All right. Yes, so you, sir. Yes, you.
Hello. I'm here, just in front of you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you, sir.
Yeah.
I meant you. I was pointing there, but I meant there.
I'm here. Marco Consoli, I'm a journalist from Italy. We've seen some emotional moments in the clip that you brought here today. But of course, the Oscars are well known and remembered for the controversies, some political speeches, Will Smith punching Chris Rock, the mistake of the wrong Oscar given to the wrong film. How do you see those moments retrospectively? If there's, I don't know, if you have to pick one, your favorite, and do you see them?
My favorite bad moment.
Yeah, exactly. And do you see them as something that you have then to navigate, because controversies are always, you should avoid controversies, but also they help the Oscars to be remembered, for centuries. So how do you see those moments? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Great question. I think it's one that people think about a lot. We're a live TV show, and anything can happen on a live TV show. That's part of the excitement. But we're prepared for those moments. I think we've learned a lot over the past couple of years. That's all I'll say about that. But the first part of your question, I really liked, because we don't censor our artists when they take the stage to accept their Oscar. This is their moment to say something from the heart, and sometimes they say something that's political. We're a membership organization of 11,000 members from around the world, a wide variety of viewpoints on politics and living and religion or no religion. I mean, this is a truly diverse group of members, and it's becoming more and more diverse and global. So I think it's so important to allow artists their moment to have a voice on our stage that reaches 50 million plus people around the world, more than that, because they live on forever. We're still watching these clips. Then they live on YouTube, and they're heavily watched on YouTube. So These are iconic, important moments, and I think it's so important to allow artists to have their voice heard. And I think that's one of the great things that we can do. Thank you. Yeah, yes, sir. Now I have to allow you to speak.
Hi, it's Jason Gore from Canada. Welcome.
Oh, good to see you. We have a lot of members in Canada, by the way. We're in Toronto a lot.
If you let in film critics, I'm happy to join. It's interesting, you talk about your background in demography being an interesting shift, but of course the cynical, given what has happened in the last 10 years with the Academy, might actually say somebody in charge of demography is actually perfect. There are those that are actually quite dismissive of the changes to the Academy, the inclusion of the global voices as Hollywood's going aside. Your own president has gone on the record suggesting that tariffs are going to be put in to films that are internationalized coming into the market.
Okay, can I just say President of the United States, not President of the Academy?
Fair enough.
Big difference.
So my question to you is this. You've seen massive changes in cinema. You've seen massive changes in audience reception. If you could talk about, you've talked about the positives, but you could talk about the real challenges in Hollywood in convincing those in Hollywood that the internationalization of the Academy has been beneficial, not only for us as a global audience, but also for the filmmakers, for the crews, for the technicians in California to continue to make the films that they are making.
Yeah, great question, and one that we're asked a lot. The Academy is a global organization. We're not the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce. We care that movies are made and seen around the world. So that's important to us, and the evolution of the industry, that's where it's going right now, even though a lot of filmmaking is coming back to California. Governor Newsom just enacted recently a tax rebate program that's helping with that. And I think a lot, and I'll be a little bit of a Pollyanna here, but I think a lot of the grumblings you may have heard years ago are going away. People realize global voices are so important, diversity of viewpoints are so important, and every year there are, excuse me, non-US films that are eligible for Oscars that are spectacular. And our Academy members based in Hollywood are devouring them. So it's becoming less and less a topic of concern, and I think it's becoming very healthy for the Academy. A nonprofit organization has to think about a sustainable future. This is helping the Academy create a sustainable future. Now, we want Hollywood proper to be healthy, and production is coming back to Hollywood. I don't know if you've been reading about that, but it's shifting, which is great. And production is happening around the world, so I think all of it's good. We just want people making and watching movies. That's key, and we're committed to that. And I have to say the response, I mean, I've been CEO for almost 4 years. This has been a real mandate of mine, something that I came in saying, this is our future. People are excited about it, really. And believe me, when people are unhappy, our members are unhappy, I hear about it. Yeah. Not, look, of course, with 11,000 members, not everybody's going to be happy about every decision you make, but people see that this is our future, and it's exciting. Really is. And then I'll move over here. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Mariam Sadar,
Hello.
filmmaker and producer. First of all, thank you for your inspiring talk and for all the work you do at the Academy.
Thank you.
And I was struck by a word you used, both of you used actually. It was young filmmakers, young emerging voices. Is it age still relevant when we're talking about creation? I've started creating at the age of 40, and there's not much programs. Most of industry programs, they are helping emerging voices and talents that are under 25, under 35. There's no place for people like me. And I would like to, I don't know how much the Academy is aware of that issue, and if not, are you willing to reflect on it? Thank you.
No, thank you. We have programs for what we'll call mid-career filmmakers, our Nickel Fellowship in Screenwriting, our Women's Fellowship for Writer-Directors. So we have paths for filmmakers, and by the way, age is not a factor in those. So you could be 70 and write your first screenplay and get a fellowship and Academy mentorship through our Nickel program. If you go on Oscars.org, look at our talent development programs, and you'll see some mid-career programs. But we agree with you. I mean, we want to inspire young generations, but we want mid-career filmmakers to also connect with the Academy. It's really important.
If you just allow me, Bill, to add, I mean, very often by young, we mean people that are starting in the business. I mean, young career. Of course, age is not relevant. Otherwise, we would be addressing as students, getting fresh out of school, etc. But for me, young mainly is the first, second, maybe third. For me, it's a young, author, director, professional. Basically, it's that the concept.
And that's why I like the word emerging, because that's not age specific. You can be an emerging filmmaker at any age, right? And we want to encourage that. Did that answer your question? Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thanks. They're passing the mic around. I've lost control. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I tried.
Hi, Bill.
Hello.
Lovely to meet you. I'm a filmmaker and presenter from the UK.
Great.
I feel like you've been asked too many more about challenges in the Oscars, but I thought spice it up, add some fun to it. So there've been many hilarious and viral moments across many Oscar ceremonies, and with Conan coming back, we know he's quite mischievous and he tries to be very funny, and he is. If you were to allow him to plan a harmless prank on the audience, who would you want from past hosts or any actors that may be attending? And as the CEO, what would you approve?
Wow, that's very specific. I feel like you have an idea for the show in your mind as you ask that question. Great point, because I think the subtext of what you're saying is this is an entertainment show, right? We're giving out awards, we want to inspire filmmakers, but the show has to be fun and entertaining. And I've overseen 22, 23, 24, 25. I've overseen the last 3 shows. This will be my 4th. We're trying to bring back a lot of joy and excitement and entertainment to the shows. Conan's a big part of that. So look, as long as there's no harm being done and it's playful and fun and entertaining, it's absolutely something we would consider. And I have to say, what's great about a Conan, who's great with the live audience, is when the audience feels excited, the live audience, people at home sense that. People sense that the host has the live audience and is engaging the live audience. And I think it helps the show for viewers at home. So moments like that can be really helpful. So that's not a no. Right. I feel like I owe you. Yeah.
Sorry, I can stand, but my name is Constance from France. I am a journalist, and as you reminded us, the membership of the Academy has grown and it's become more global. Do you plan to continue this growth, or do you have a cap in mind? And do you think that the globalization has also changed the way a performer and artists are doing campaigning?
Can you repeat the last part of that question?
Do you think the globalization has changed the rule of Oscar campaigning, the way we are?
Got it. Every year, we invite in between 300 and 400 members. So in terms of growth, that will continue. There's no plans to stop that. The last 3 classes were more than 50% non-US, which is really exciting. It's a big growth area for us. I don't see that stopping. we're a living, breathing organization. We're out in the world in a different way, and it's so much fun. And it's so inspiring for all of us. We're thinking differently about the organization because of it. And I think that's really healthy. Well, you know, with campaigning, I think people have a lens. I mean, as we become more global, campaigns have to become more global, right? I mean, one of the great things for our members is we have the Academy screening room, so you can live in Morocco or Paris or New York or Vancouver, and everybody has access to the same films. And one of the reasons we really wanted to expand that was for that exact reason, because in the past, the best international feature film was reviewed by a handful of people in Beverly Hills in one theater. Everyone can access that now, all Academy members can. So to me, that's really linking the globalization of the Academy to nominations and ultimately the awards. Okay. Thank you. Sure, over here. Sorry. Hi. You came.
Hi. Oh, sorry. We'll get there
Hello.
afterwards.
Hey.
Ben from the U.S. Press. Two questions. One, just you mentioned independent films that you cited for the stunts category. Could you actually name some of the films that you used in that reel?
Yeah, I'll be selective because it was a private thing, but Anora, right? The fight scene in Anora in the home where they were attempting to kidnap the protagonist, that was a heavily choreographed stunts moment. That when you say stunts, you don't necessarily think of a film or a scene like that. And it was amazing to deconstruct that moment, right?
Second question, as a fundraiser, talking about, you know, your background, you have to take a look at the lay of the land, see how things are going. How is the Academy going to respond to what is clear to be a contraction in the amount of studios in the coming years?
So diversified support is key for any organization. That's another mantra I have, just with, you know, Academy is global, diversification is important. There are new studios now.
Well, no, I mean the likelihood of Paramount and Warner Brothers being, you know, housed into the same entity is going to have a seismic effect on American film culture and the American film industry. If it happens, or maybe Netflix, or that's going to be seismic. And I just wonder what the Academy's role in that throughout, what that's going to be.
To go back to the fundraising part of that, because that's where your question started. We receive support from the studios, from our members, from foundations, from many corporations that are not in the film industry proper. So if there is a contraction of the studios, financially, we're ensuring that the Academy can continue to thrive and survive. We're in the middle of a $500 million fundraising campaign. We've raised almost $250 million of that. It runs through the end of 28. This is to beef up our endowment as an insurance policy. I think one of the things the pandemic taught anyone who runs an arts organization or a nonprofit, your earned income, your ticket sales can go away like that if something happens. You need other sources of funding. But we're tracking what's happening with the studios. I mean, these are our members. There are a lot of new studios forming that aren't the traditional Hollywood studios. So you're seeing there may be some contraction with traditional Hollywood studios, but others are forming that we're working with. So it's something we continue to track, but I don't think it will hurt our financial situation. Thank you.
If you allow me, Bill, maybe we'll take maybe a couple of questions, 2 or 3 more questions. Is that okay with you?
Questions, and then I'm happy to stick around and answer questions more socially. Why don't we go over there, the young woman in the white jacket? Sorry. I'm just thinking we haven't done a lot on this side.
I'm Sukaina Hashimi. I'm a journalist from the SNRT. So my question is, how do you see the role of international cinema, such as Moroccan cinema, especially in shaping the future of global film?
So is that specific to Moroccan cinema or just international cinema? Yeah, again, I think there's been a real globalization of movie making and movie watching, and that will continue. I remember when director Bong won For Parasite, he said, and I'm paraphrasing, but people aren't afraid of subtitles anymore. And that's true. And I think people are much more eager to watch films that are not from their home country because they've been doing it at home. And that's helping the internationalization of the industry. So that's only going to continue. It's really exciting. And Morocco, I think you've had 21 films submitted for Best International Feature Film. 9 have been shortlisted. Maybe more very soon, but you have an amazing culture of movie making here and some great filmmakers. It's really fantastic. And a great film this year that's been submitted. Thank you. Two more questions? Yeah. All right. You, young lady in the white, because yes, I remember you from the lobby, so I'll call on you.
Hello, my name's Helena. I'm from London. I was wondering, as an actor and in the field of the acting, as people, we like what we know and we like what is common, like our coffee from our favorite coffee shop. And same, I feel like a lot of people will go to the movies for a certain actor or because they're cast in that and it gets a lot of seats in the audience. A lot of the casting happens online and it's through self-tapes and you never get to necessarily meet the people in person or meet the directors unless you get to the set. Is there any thoughts or ideas that you have or that you have been talking or thinking about of giving actors opportunities to meet more people in real life and get more experience, not only as a human, but just also to act in front of them and to just have more in-person casting again, opportunities?
No, that's a very industry-specific question. I love it. No, it's great. I'll say a couple of things about that, and hopefully it will add up to a good answer. The Academy believes heavily in in-person gatherings. It's a lot of what we do. So we gather our members around the world, always lots of actors in the room. So in-person is important. Nothing is better than a face-to-face moment. People meet at our screenings, they meet at our member gatherings around the world, they meet at our film festival events, they meet at the Oscars. We have almost 3,500 people there. The casting award, I think, is gonna help with that because people will be educated much more about what the casting process is like. Right? It's still a mystery to most people. And I think that will help elevate that art form, that discipline. And I think it will help better connect, especially emerging actors, with how do you work with a casting director? What is that conversation like? Even if you're on set in Hungary and you're meeting with a casting director in LA over Zoom, there's an art to that moment. And that happens sometimes more and more. It's just the nature of our world. It's how business is done. So I think the casting award will help, I think elevate that conversation in a way that people may not anticipate, right? So I think both really help our members, right? Thank you. All right, last question. And then I'll stick around if you guys wanna ask me questions after we turn the lights up.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Italian journalist, so the image and the mission of the Academy is very clear. So when you, for example, read some words coming from members of Academy, like, for example, Sean Penn, that talks about the Academy, which was your personal feelings when you read something like this, but your personal emotion thinking about the sacrifice that the Academy did? Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, I don't know if I'll tell you exactly how I feel in those moments. I don't know if I want that to be a headline. We have 11,000 members. They have a variety of feelings and ideas about the movie industry, who wins Oscars, the Academy, me, I'm sure, as their CEO. I always take comments in, even if they're negative, with an open heart. right? I work in service to the film industry and in service to the membership. If someone's not happy, even in a very public way, I take that seriously. And I take it as a note. It's something you have to think about. You may not get to a resolution, but all voices are important, and even ones that can be upsetting or not in alignment with your thinking, you know, sometimes that actually sparks you to evolve in a different way. So I think these can be really constructive moments. I do. Great, thank you. Is that it?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
A standing ovation of one. 2, all right. Guys, no, you're embarrassing me. I had to really work for that. A hollow victory. Thank you so much. And thank you. You've been a great audience, truly.
Bill, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I mean, this moment, this conversation has been really one of my preferred moments where you enter the room, you listen to our guest, and then when you go out, you're bigger. You understand your craft, you understand the world better, you feel more confident when you talk, and everything you really gently gave us in a brilliant way make me understand much better how it works worldwide, how the industry works, what we should be thinking of, what are the openings for all the, I would say not the young, but the emerging in professionals in cinema. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been a
so
pleasure.
much.
Thank you, everybody, and thank you.